Let's talk about the worst type of narcissist you can ever come in contact with: the covert narcissist. Again, let's rehearse a few facts. A narcissist is someone who is bound by the Jezebel spirit. There are different ranks to this particular type of spirit. The Jezebel spirit targets prophets and prophetic people. The objective of Jezebel is to cause the prophet to self-destruct. And Jezebel gets access to the prophet or the prophetic person through the era of idolatry, which is something a lot of prophets and prophetic people wrestle with. So why is a covert narcissist the worst type of narcissist you can come in contact with as a prophet or a prophetic person? Because of their charm. If I had to classify them, I would say these are your babyface devils. They are masters at making you feel like there's something wrong with you. They are oftentimes very mild-mannered. They can even come off as sweethearts. And they prefer to partner themselves up with people who have a more dominant personality. This allows them to hide. For example, let's say that a woman is a type A. She's a go-getter, a hard hitter. She's a very intentional woman. She's faithful, committed, and God-fearing. And she ends up exchanging vows with a relatively mild-mannered man. He says, yes, ma'am. He opens the doors for women. He pulls out the seat for women. He'll carry grandma across a puddle. He walks the dog in the middle of the night. And he's in the choir at church. For all intents and purposes, he appears to be a really good guy. But covert narcissists specialize in reactive abuse. You say, Tiffany, what is reactive abuse? Reactive abuse is undercover abuse. Is when a person can pretty much prick you under the table and get a reaction from you that everybody else can see. Nobody can see what's happening under the table. All they see is you reacting. This causes you to look like the bad guy. Gaslighting specialists, they will convince you that you are losing your everlasting mind. They'll put laxatives in your Girl Scout cookies and then nurse you back to health. And when you're with this particular type of narcissist, there is a time where you're going to start thinking that there's something wrong with you, that you're the villain, that you're psychotic. They'll convince you that you're crazy and then stroke your hair while your therapist picks away at your brain. They'll clean out the toilet with your toothbrush and then convince you to go see a dentist. And whenever they're confronted and cornered, they'll cry like an unweaned goat. And by the time they're done doing their damage, you won't have any friends left, because they'll manage to convince everybody else that you are the villain and they are the victims. And hear me, nobody will believe you. I take that back. A couple of people will believe you, their exes and their parents. But they'll be of no good help to you because they will be in hiding, or they'll be 3 shades of crazy. It goes without saying, the way to avoid a narcissist is to stay humble, to stay out of sin, and more importantly, to seek God first. And try this method. When they try to love bomb you, gray rock them. Honestly, it'd be better if you didn't deal with them altogether. But some of y'all are already entangled, so let me give you this. Study the gray rock method and create a standard of communication. A standard of communication means, for example, you can't curse me out, you can't yell at me, you can't accuse me of wrongdoing. We got to have an adult-sized conversation. Anything else you do, you will get ignored, or you'll get a very abrupt answer. Remember, the war is not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and the rulers of this dark world and spiritual wickedness in high places. This is to say that if you surrender wholeheartedly to God, you're going to lose your narcissist. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, because some of you may start thinking, I'm not trying to lose my idol. I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. That's what the Philistines did when their idol fell to the floor and broke. Idol by the name of Dagon, their god. Over the course of time, they realized that the glory of God and false deities cannot coincide. So they gave the Ark of the Covenant back to Israel. And just know this, if you're truly anointed and you find yourself in the custody of a narcissist, ready? Your anointing will torment them. And I mean bad. Because the pressure they put on you is going to cause your oil to be released. And you'll find yourself on the side of the road, discarded, abused, and confused. That is until you finally say yes to the call on your life. Stop running from God. And hear me, if you are blessed enough to get the attention of the covert narcissist, child of God, you are incredibly anointed. You just don't know who you are right now. And that's okay, but I encourage you to seek God until you find out who he is, so he can give you a revelation of who you are.